In our Parashat, the Jewish people find themselves in exile in Egypt when Paro taking the entire Jewish people beside of tribe of Levi and making them slaves. For 210 years the Jewish people are in exile, and 86 years they are working avodat parech. The rabbis explained that the work, the suffering of the Jewish people was in another level. And then finally HaKadosh Baruch Hu is calling Moshe Rabbeinu and tell him, please go back to Mitzrayim, go to Egypt and save the Jewish people. It's time for Geulah. We're here to redeem the Jewish people. But then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, when you talk to Paro, tell him, Nelchana derech sheloshet yamim. We would like to take the Jewish people for 3 days outside to the desert to bring some korbanot, some offering to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let me ask you a question. That was the intention of sending Moshe Rabbeinu to Egypt, to take the Jewish people for 3 days. That's what's going to help the Jewish people, leaving Egypt, exile, the avodat parech for 3 days. That's not the solution. We need something permanent. Our main goal is to take the Jewish people out of Egypt, to give the Torah on Har Sinai to the Jewish people, and then finally to go to Eretz Israel. So how 3 days in desert will help? So the rabbis explain that Hashem purposely wanted to show to Paro that even 3 days he wasn't willing to send, but there is a little bit deeper message than this. When you deal with Paro, to tell him, I want to take the Jewish people completely out of Egypt to take him to Eretz Israel, for sure he will say no. But when you start with something small, listen, maybe 3 days in desert, just to bring some korbanot, to go for a small vacation, maybe he will say yes, and that will be the beginning to actually take the Jewish people out, to the final redemption, to the Geulah. The rabbis explain that the whole Parashat Shemot, it's the story of our life. We are the Neshamot of the Jewish people, and we find ourselves in Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim referred to the lowest place, Metzarim, Mina Metzar Karatiyah, dark, lonely, challenges, difficulty. 49 levels of impurity where the Jewish people find themselves. That's us. And we want to fight against Paro, the Yetzer Hara, their evil inclination. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending us Moshe Rabbeinu with the Torah. But what's the way to fight? From one day to another, to keep Shabbat, Kashrut, Tefillot, Nidat, this, that. Almost impossible, very difficult. Therefore the Torah is telling you, when you deal with the Yetzer Hara, when you deal with the evil inclination, what you need to do is tell him, listen, give me just 3 days. I'm just going to the Tefillah Shacharit in the shul. Just going to listen to a class of a rabbi. I'm just going to give a little bit of tzedakah. You start little by little and then you grow. In our life, we find ourselves many times in situations of Mitzrayim, in the Metzarim. And we need to be the one to fight against Paro. Every generation, we have the Paro of the generation. So Moshe Rabbeinu is telling you the message from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nelchana derech sheloshet yamim. You know what the Gemara is telling you? If Paro is coming to attack you, if the evil inclination comes to attack you, meshacheu lebet HaMidrash, take him to Bet HaMidrash. What's going to happen? What's going to change? When you start little by little with some Torah, some Maasim Tovim, some Tefillah, then after that you can actually be able to receive the Torah from Har Sinai and to go to Eretz Israel. The message from this parasha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us, make the first move. Start, even if it seems small, but that will lead you to the final result. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.